Over Memorial Day weekend, we went to Shiloh National Military Park in Tennessee. Join us for the cannon firing demonstration. Not only was there a ranger there to answer questions, but he guided us through the whole entire reenactment.
What's called a sponge rammer. On one end it has a dampened sponge, and you'll see him step in there. He'll put that in the barrel of the gun, the bore, and he'll put it in and sort of move it around a little bit, making sure what? Why is he doing that? Anybody have any idea? He just like to have a nice clean gun?
Cleaning crap out of there.
Cleaning it. More importantly, not just cleaning it, but getting something out of there.
Sparks.
Who said embers? Sparks. Okay, that's the right answer, because that gets rid of those sparks that might be left over from a previous firing, which is, if you're firing rapidly, that's really important, because he's going to turn this around and use the rammer end to ram in one of these rounds. Right on, and if he rams it right on top of those sparks, what's going to happen?
Blow up.
It's going to go off prematurely while his hand is still in front of the barrel. So the sponge rammer, along with his hand, is going to go down range. And if he's not being careful, he might lose other parts of his anatomy as well. Puts it in, but he also has another job. If for some reason we have a misfire, he's the only one that can safely remove the old primer, because he won't be hit by the cannon if it suddenly goes off. This is what fires the cannon, and do that safely. So he has a very difficult job if we have a misfire. Now, number 3, who is back there, is the busiest person on the crew. He can't afford to go to sleep because he's constantly busy. First of all, he steps in there and, whoops, where's my thumb stall? Thumb stall is, oops.
She's got one on her hand.
Huh?
She's got one on her hand.
He has one on his hand. I may have one in here. Yeah, thumb stall. Not a very nice one. But this goes on his thumb, and he'll put his thumb over the vent, that hole near the rear of the gun. Why is he doing that?
Starve the embers of oxygen.
Okay, well, who said keep oxygen out? That is correct. That's another safety procedure, because when we're sponging, we want to create a vacuum and get rid of all those sparks. If we let air in there, that will fan those sparks, and it might blow up prematurely. Now, if he just put his thumb on that, it'd get pretty hot after a while, so he has this thumb stall to protect his thumb. But that's only one thing that he does, because when he's done with that, he goes back to the hand spike at the rear of the gun, and he will push this hand spike, which is attached to the trail, to the left or the right to aim the gun, or to help the gunner aim the gun, I should say. And he's still not done, because he'll come back up to the gun and use his priming wire, step on it. When they say ready, you'll see him step in and push this down inside the vent to pierce that cartridge of black powder, so there's loose powder in there. And the next thing is the number 4 puts the friction primer in, he holds it in place, and you'll see them look at each other until number 4, who we're going to talk about next, is back in his position, and then number 3 steps back out. So 3 is constantly busy. He is the busiest person on the crew. Now number 4 over there has a device called a lanyard, like this. It's a cord, and it has a handle, and it's attached to this wire that goes through the top of this copper tube, which is hollow and has black powder inside, has a friction compound at the top, sort of like a match head. So when this wire is pulled through that friction compound, it makes a spark. That's the main explosion. It's a tiny one, but that is fired down to the big charge here, which is the secondary explosion. It all happens so fast that you don't hear the difference, but first this goes off, and then the big charge, and that's what pushes the cannonball out. So number 4 gets the privilege of actually firing the cannon. How many of you would want to do that? Sounds like fun. Back behind him is our gunner, who calls out the commands. He has to actually make decisions, decide what kind of round we're going to fire, whether it's going to be solid shot at long range, or if the enemy's getting close, maybe canister, or maybe case shot or shrapnel, which has a time fuse. So you may hear him calling out a number of seconds to set that time fuse. He also gets to aim the cannon using what's called a pendulum Haas sight, which balances at a cradle near the back of the cannon. So he is responsible for hitting the target. Now back here at the limber, we have our powder monkey, who has a haversack, which he will take the round forward to the number 2 in. Now, why would he want to put it in a haversack? Why not just carry it loose on the, get there faster and not have to bother with a haversack?
In case he gets hit by a bullet, maybe?
Keep it dry.
Keeps it dry, but also you're on a battlefield. There's sparks, there's things exploding. So he's carrying this and a spark hits it, kaboom, that's the end of him. So that is also to protect him. All right, we're ready to go through a dry run.
Now that you know what each man is doing, here is the talk-through demonstration.
Cannoneer! Hold! Load solid shot! Load! Ready!
Ready word. That's what they're going to prime the cannon. Here's the cartridge. Prime fire. A friction primer which actually fires the cannon.
Fire!
In case that cannon was too fast for you, here it is again in slow motion. Thanks for joining us today, and until next time, this is Kay and Matt from Happy Trails Hiking. Keep on trekking.